called gentrification. It's what happens when the property value of a certain area is brought down. Huh? You listening?
Yeah.
To bring the property value down. They can buy the land at a lower price. Then they move all the people out, raise the property value, and sell it at a profit. Now, what
According to Oxford Languages, gentrification is the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthy people moving in, improving housing, attracting new businesses, typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. A study done by the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia shows 10 of the most gentrified cities in America from 2010 to 2014. And although this study may be a few years old, it still shows how much gentrification is happening in America. It's not just happening in these big cities like Atlanta and Denver and Boston. It's also happening in smaller cities like my hometown of Kalamazoo or Lansing. In many other places across all 50 states, gentrification is happening. This new multi-million-dollar apartment complex that they built recently is just one of the examples of gentrification in the Kalamazoo area, where they'll build these new nice things, but the people who already live there can no longer afford it. The same thing with these houses that they built on the north side of Kalamazoo, where the residents who live there already won't be able to afford it, but it will attract new people. And I spoke to a Kalamazoo resident who lived there for about 40 years to speak more on the recent developments in the area.
All the new apartments, which are private enterprise, don't seem to, they're on the fringe. So it doesn't help the inhabitants of the north side, and I don't think that the residents in those apartments or structures in any way, or shape, or form mirror the racial distribution within the north side or any low income community. So certainly the apartments and their placement are at best transitional to the north side.
Mm-hmm. And lots of these new apartment complexes that they built in the poor areas or on the border of these poor areas, like Mr. Earhart was saying, does not make up the demographic of the area. So typically now what happens that these new higher paying residents are moving into the neighborhood, they begin to attract a lot of new businesses, things like gyms, coffee shops, and especially grocery stores, since there are never any grocery stores in these poor neighborhoods. I spoke to another Kalamazoo resident to speak more on that and grocery stores in poor urban communities.
Really not a lot there. There's a grocery store that has just come last 10 years maybe, but it's overpriced. It does not have quality food, does not have a lot of food, but it's the only store that's close, so people have to shop there.
And this is a very common thing that happens in these poor neighborhoods. They are left with no real food options, just numerous amounts of corner stores and liquor stores, or some low-quality grocery store. And when they do finally get a good grocery store, the prices are way too high for the residents. And on top of that, it raises property value in the area. A study done by Zillow shows that homes closer to Trader Joe's and Whole Foods rapidly grow in value.
And so what they did was kill off all the small grocery stores on the north side. Then it's gone, so now you got nothing. And never put something, that's gonna really benefit the community, in the community when you're black.
What many people don't understand is gentrification is not helping the neighborhood. Yes, it brings in new people, brings in new businesses, and etc. But it's not helping the people, the community, the ones who actually live and make up the neighborhood. They aren't being helped by these new apartments popping up in their backyards, causing rent and property tax to go up, or these businesses popping up with products that cost way too much for them. And with Malcolm Earhart being a longtime Kalamazoo resident who has gone through gentrification, I asked him if there was any way to help his neighborhood, or any neighborhood in general.
In order to help the north side or any disadvantaged area, you need to start a foundation or build upon the foundation within that area. And that might mean that you build from the heart out as opposed from the edges in the area, even though it may look like it's a benefit, unless there's some means to work with the neighborhoods themselves.
Gentrification is a problem that is affecting thousands of people every year, and will continue to do so if we don't speak out and stand up. And gentrification doesn't have one solid solution, but we need to, at the very least, start the conversation and reach out to these local community leaders and activists to find a solution. Find a way to improve the community and the neighborhood without displacing the current inhabitants that make up the neighborhood.